Hello and welcome to the Warrior King Kitchen. You're going to be cooking with me, King Kyle, today. Today we're going to be making a classic hunter's stew. For this, you're going to need 2 pounds of beef. You want to dry them off. You're going to need a punnet of mushrooms, 2 large onions, 4 cloves of garlic, pepper, paprika, tablespoon of garlic powder, tablespoon of thyme, and a tablespoon and a half of salt. So what is the thing that we're going to do first? Firstly, I would like to ensure that my mushrooms are always washed. Why do I wash the mushrooms? Working in the manufacturing industry, I realize what mushrooms are grown in. They are grown in chicken poop. So if you want to ensure that you're not eating chicken poop, make sure that you wash your mushrooms. We're going to wash these quickly, ensure that they're nice and clean. And while we're doing that, we are going to be prepping the other ingredients as well. So I like to start with my onions, cut them into slices, nice and tight. Take the front end off first, back end, and then peel. Quick and easy. Take the top layer off. Shouldn't be too much hard work. I don't know if you guys can see me there. That's the other side. I want to ensure that you guys are seeing what's happening over here. So, first layer of the onion comes off. Oop. Do the other one. Back end off. Front end off. And let's take the top layer off again. Now normally onions make you cry, but if you keep them in the fridge, it helps to reduce the amount of aroma that they're going to be releasing, which will ensure that you're probably not going to cry as much. So I half it usually, and then I'll slice them up. A good trick for this is to ensure that your finger is always against the knife, and that will guide the knife to where it needs to go while ensuring that you are safe. A little bit more. We want to get them as thin as possible, and the reason for that is that when they brown, they're going to caramelize nicely and get into that mixture of the stew. Half this one again. And slice, slice, slice. Oh. Lost a little bit. Okay. Next, we're going to be moving on to the garlic. The easiest way to do garlic is if you have the cover on top, you want to press it down, press, that opens it up nicely and allows for you to just peel it very easily, as you can see over there. 1 clove, 2nd clove, oh, 3rd clove. Oh, that didn't work as easily as I wanted it to. But these things happen. You just have to realize that not everything's going to be perfect in the kitchen. And make adaptations. Ensure that you are being as free with your cooking as you would be with any other creative process. Because usually it's the mistakes, the happy little accidents, as my favorite painter would say, that makes the biggest difference. So now we're going to mince this garlic, cut them across. And then, again, smaller, smaller. Okay, So now we've got garlic cut, we have our beef nicely cut as well, and we have our onions done. Next, do the mushrooms. Let's clean up this place a little bit. Ensure the workspace is always nice and clean. Okay, for the mushrooms, similar principle. Take them off. I'm using the same knife because it's all just vegetables anyway. Come over here. Now I like my mushrooms in slices because this allows it to absorb a lot more of the flavor, but it also ensures that it cooks really well thoroughly through it. So cut them into nice slices, probably about I don't know what it is in imperial, but in South African terms or in metric terms, it's about 3 to 4 millimeters in size, or in width. Again, none of them have to be perfect. It's just about getting them all into the sizing that can be cooked quite nicely evenly and taste good. Okay, so we have the mushrooms done, we have our onions done, we have our beef stock sitting ready for it as well. 4 cups of beef stock is the one thing that I neglected to ensure that you have in there, and we have our tallow on the side of it. So, first step that I'm going to do is, for me, after I've patted this dry, I actually like to coat my meat in what needs to the spices that we need to have for this. So I'm putting them into a nice bowl after it's been patted dry. Gonna mix it up with these spices. Boom. Shake this out the way. All right, so we're gonna have paprika, tablespoon, thyme, tablespoon. More than I expected, but okay. Tablespoon of pepper. Tablespoon of salt. Nice and coarse. And then your onion powder. Okay, and that is good, ready to go. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. Shake. 1 and 2. I have no idea if some of these cameras are recording the right way or if they have the right capability, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, get the spice nice and surrounded onto the meat, because that's going to help us with the first step, which is browning the meat. All right, everything's been nicely coated. Now, okay, let's pop that light on. I'm going to heat this pan up nice to a nice high temperature. Tablespoon of that. And what we're using for this particular occurrence over here is we're actually using a Le Creuset pan. The Le Creuset pans are probably the best for this. They are nice cast iron and they ensure that the heat is well dispersed. Okay, I'm using a wooden spoon over here. Stir that around. Remember, we're going to be plating this after we put it back in here, right? So let's get that nice and tight. Let's brown this meat quickly. While that's browning, wash this bad boy out. Okay. As you can see, it's getting browned nicely. It should be between 1 minute to 3 minutes, just to give a nice little brown coloring to it before we take it off. Okay, while this is all happening, gives you a chance to look at your station, clean up everything that needs to be cleaned up, but you can really smell the aroma coming off of the meat. It smells amazing. It's going to keep you occupied or keep you full for much longer because of the high fat content that we have in here. It's high in protein as well, and will ensure that you have the nutrients to be able to truly survive the workouts that we're having. Okay, a couple more minutes. As you can see, the meat over there looks nice and brown. The aromas are coming off of it, so we're going to pull this meat off into the bowl, and we will be moving to our onions next. Hopefully that is going to stay there. Stay, good boy. Okay, let's pull the meat off. Okay, meat's browned. Next, we're moving over to our onions and garlic. Gonna ensure that this aroma comes through, really caramelizes it. So, popping the onions in. And the garlic. Sweat them all. From what it looks like this needs a little bit more fat into it. So I'm gonna add another tablespoon of tallow. You, my friend, can come over here. And check that out, okay? You can see me there. So as you can see, we're sweating both the garlic and the onions. Gonna caramelize them nicely. This is still on a very high heat, just ensuring that it's gonna get nice and soft, sweat them off. One thing that I find always amazing is that the smell of garlic and onions cooking together is absolutely phenomenal. All right, what we are gonna do right now is add a little bit more paprika to this. Some more of the black pepper. Some salt. The rest of the salt, should I say. And the onion powder. Boom, done. You should get a little smoky, nutty flavor coming off of this. Ooh, be careful when you do rest your apparatus against the pan, it's gonna get a little hot. Keep stirring it, getting that to really soften down and melt down. Sometimes they escape. All right. Caramelization is about 50 to 70% there. Let's add in the mushrooms now. Try not to let them escape you. If they do, catch them. Oh. Did something break? No, it didn't break. Okay. Cool. Right, mushrooms have been added. Gonna keep this on here for a bit. Start cooking those up. And next, last step would be adding the stock. So 4 cups of stock. Get that in there. Nice and warm. That's going to add all the flavors to the mushroom. And then, lastly, add your meat back in. Allow that to start cooking. We're going to drop this temperature down to a low temperature. Put the lid on. And that is it for the next half an hour. While we do that, we can relax, we can do something else, we can get some of the other food cooked for the week, but that is going to be at least a couple of meals right there. So leave that for about an hour or so and come back and check on it. What I would do is I would stir it occasionally throughout that hour, between 3 to 4 times, once every 15 minutes, and you should be good to go.
And there we go. We have a beautiful Hunter's stew.